Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another very exciting Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your friend and your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today, we just got the final official trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. And like I said to you guys in my last video, yesterday I broke down the teaser for today's trailer, I think a lot of fans are going to regret writing off the movie from the off, because this is one of the best Star Wars trailers I've seen in a very, very long time. Following the Super Bowl fiasco and the way fans have been really apathetic about this film, we needed a win. And oh my goodness, did Lucasfilm deliver. They've really been hiding some juicy stuff from us, and this trailer gave us so much. From Din Djarin and Grogu's personal journeys, to them being separated throughout the film, Grogu going on a journey of self-reflection, at one point he's holding a walking stick like Yoda, and then there's all of the creatures, returning characters, Easter eggs, references. There is a lot to discuss, so no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. So right off the bat, this trailer actually looks like a proper movie, not just a bunch of Mando episodes from Disney Plus, compiled for the big screen. The cinematic visuals are there, and the colour grading is there. This is such an incredible improvement, and if you compare the first teaser to this one, honestly they look like two different movies. I did like the first one, but it was very grey in places. This one is vibrant and full of colour, and like I said yesterday, the opening shot is reminiscent of The Force Awakens and Apocalypse Now, the New Republic X-Wings against the backdrop of a beautiful sunset. Adelphi base in particular looks amazing in this, but let's get to some of the very juicy stuff. And we have to begin with a huge reveal that Pedro Pascal was in the suit. He's helmetless for so much of this movie. Not necessarily by choice, the Hutts from the Book of Boba Fett confiscate his helmet at some point, and the reason I'm so happy about this is because it's righting the wrongs of the third season, where Din went on a journey of redemption to the living waters, but fans felt like this was a regression. Even though this is not his choice, the fact we see Pedro's face means that there's more emotion and more depth, more weight to his words, more weight to his choices and actions. And there is of course the question following the third season of whether or not the Children of the Watch are okay with this. Because the Forge and Mandalore has been restored, and because the armor accepted Bo as walking both paths, I wonder if this is now seen as acceptable, even if Din doesn't want it. And the difference it makes to see Din's face, I said this for season 1 and also season 2, just makes Din feel more relatable and more human. But the trailer also finally answers one of the biggest questions fans have had for the last few months. Who is the villain of the movie? Well, it seems like Din and Grogu have several threats to deal with, both collectively and apart. The Hutts, and we get a better look at Rotta, a Mantelian Savrip who might be Kalhar from the expanded universe, but originates on the Dedrick chessboard. But the major threat, which I think eventually ties into Grand Admiral Thrawn, is the Remnant, and on the ice planet where we saw the snowtroopers and the AT-ATs, we see a gathering of warlords. Now this guy we know. This guy was part of the Shadow Council in season 3. You should recognise a couple of the others, but I think a couple of these guys are new. I've also heard Pelion appears in the film, and what they could do is tie it to Thrawn, right at the end. Imagine one last shot from Dathomir seeing Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Grey Mothers. That would be an incredible lead into Ahsoka season 2 coming later this year. Like I say, the Remnant snowtroopers are pretty awesome. We have action figures of those coming in 2 months' time, and Mando kicks their asses with his flamethrower. But we have to talk about the one villain who was rumoured very early on, who I had my doubts about, but is confirmed to be in the movie and making his live-action debut, Embo, voiced by Dave Filoni himself. What an entrance! And notice, he has an Anuba with him. And this is where there might be a canon retcon, because we assume this Anuba is Marok, the same dog he has in the Clone Wars series, but he's supposed to be dead at this point. It was previously noted that Marok died during the Battle of Jakku, but we know the visual content takes precedence, so they might have retconned this. And now it seems like we have 2 Maroks in the Mandoverse, the Anuba and the Inquisitor. And if you're wondering how Embo is still alive, according to the High Republic 2022 Adventures, Kyozos have a long lifespan in canon, and so they're sticking with this, and Embo is still around. And on the subject of Clone Wars characters and species, Embo and Rotta are not the only ones, because at one point in the movie, Din comes across a live-action dragon snake. This species is a long-running concept in Star Wars that originated in The Empire Strikes Back, but Dave Filoni brought them into the Clone Wars series, when Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi had a run-in with one on Nal Hutta. And interestingly enough, the Art of the Mandalorian and Grogu preview confirms Now Hutt is in this movie, so maybe that's where Din comes across this dragon snake. It looks so terrifying, but so cool. It's got a Harry Potter Voldemort aesthetic to it. But now, my friends, we need to talk about Grogu, because something I said yesterday has aged very well. I was talking about theories of Din Djarin maybe dying at the end of this movie, and while you might say it's preposterous, Din Djarin's own words in this trailer, as well as things Jon Favreau's been saying, are preparing us for some kind of blow. Din mentions he's not always going to be with Grogu, how Grogu is a Yoda species and is going to live for centuries after him, and in a couple of frames we see Grogu meditating on his own, out on an adventure where he admits he's scared. There's a kind of Dagobah, Empire Strikes Back-like feeling to it, and it just makes me think this movie might be one of the last times we see the two characters together. As Din says, he won't always be around to protect him. So I think in this movie, Grogu's gonna undergo a huge evolution. And something massive Jon Favreau said a couple of days ago is that Luke's training is gonna be important to this movie. So we might see Grogu using the Force more than he did last season, and we know for a fact he's going to be taking down some mouse droids, helping Din with the fight against the Remnant, and against some kind of swamp rat. So is this movie going to tug on our heartstrings? I'm kind of thinking that's what they're setting up with this, but I could be wrong. And a couple of honourable mentions. It was really funny to see an Ardenian fry cook, voiced by Martin Scorsese. This is the same species as Rio Durand from Solo: A Star Wars Story, but we did see one of these in Mando's first season, during the prison break arc. It's clear that while this movie is serious, there's also going to be some comedy. The minute Din Djarin mentioned Hutts, the Ardenian closes shop, is too scared. That kind of comedy involving aliens has always been part of Star Wars, so I have no issue with it. I also want to mention how awesome it is to see Zeb again. He was in the first trailer, but now we get a proper look at his face. I don't know if this is anecdotal or just my perception, but it looks like there are improvements in the way they've done his CG modelling. I also really love the enhancements to Grogu's pram, and I really think this is a movie to see in IMAX. It's extremely action-centric. I don't know where you live, but I've got some 4D cinemas. I know they're quite controversial. Some people love them, some people don't, but I did see the Mario movie a couple of years ago in 4D, and the speedruns, the chase scenes in this film kind of remind me of those, so maybe it might be worth it to see it in that format too. There's no way I'm just seeing this once. This looks like so much fun, and I'm more excited than I ever have been for the film. I really mean it when I say this is the way. I didn't expect this level of cinematography and such amazing environments. The visuals look insane, like a full-on Star Wars movie and not just a TV show. One of my biggest criticisms of Star Wars in recent years has been that there's been a lack of alien-looking planets, but it seems like they've remedied this. Now Hutt, we've got some forest planets, we've got some ice planets. I think the planet of Daiyu from Obi-Wan was rumoured, and they've really scaled things up. But those are just some of my initial thoughts, my friends. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about in a few days' time. But what do you think? Are you excited for this movie? I certainly am. Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.